Good morning. I've been getting questions from readers and from listeners, and thought I might come over here onto YouTube and answer one or two so that it can go onto some other streams there in case you're out there on LinkedIn or other places where you don't get a Facebook Live. And that's fine if Facebook is not your thing. And so this person has written to me and asked, why do I keep eating sugar? Even though I'm diabetic and it scares me, I still do it. It doesn't make sense. And I love this question. Thank you for asking it. Reader, I know that this is it seems like it doesn't make any sense to you. Yeah, that you're doing something completely self-saboteurial. So let me see if I can explain a little bit why this might be happening. And there's three things I want to talk about. The first is that it scares you. Now, I want to thank you for bringing up diabetes, because some of my clients do have diabetes or are pre-diabetic, and they feel a lot of shame about even admitting to it in public forums. And that's partly because there's an element where people feel like their past actions have contributed to their condition, and that can be the case. But they feel a lot of shame about that and feel like people will judge them for having created that situation. And if that's you, I just want you to think about, like, let's just meet myself where I'm at. This is the situation, this is the circumstance, and I can't argue with the reality of it. So I'm having to now decide how to react to this reality. And self-reproach and regret is only going to make me feel punished and like a bad person. And that's not going to help me to do better. So how's about we just take it like any other medical situation and say, okay, this is what we've got. Now, the person who's written in may perhaps have type 1 diabetes, which comes from birth, and that might not apply to you. But I just wanted to add that in for all the other diabetics and pre-diabetics who are out there who are watching this. Now, you mentioned that I said there were three things. You mentioned that sugar scares you and yet you still eat it. Now, I think this is interesting because whenever we have the idea that a food is bad, that a food is dangerous, don't you just feel like that gives it a lot of rock and roll cachet? And it also makes us feel very bad and ashamed whenever we eat it, so that the cycle of feeling guilt and regret and therefore feeling bad about ourselves really perpetuates. And when we feel bad about ourselves, that's not a great place to try and motivate change from. It just doesn't work. It seems to create more situations where we feel bad about ourselves. So how's about we think about sugar as being very intense? How's about we think about it as being very artificial? And perhaps just take the kind of morality out of it and take the moral judgment off ourselves about it as well. It's a very potent substance and it has a very strong effect on us. Okay, so we can be quite compassionate with ourselves about that and just see it more as, I see you, sugar, and you have a very intense flavor. Okay. The other element of it is that feeling of whenever we are telling ourselves, and for health reasons even, I shouldn't, I mustn't, I can't have this thing, that we often get into a mindset of deprivation. What we actually feel, I mean, I'll just run those thoughts through your head for a second. How do you feel? Deprived, like someone's going to take your toys away, like life is going to be boring and dull. I'm not allowed it, I can't have it, everyone else can have it. How is that going to feel? And is that going to be a feeling that's going to allow you to make different choices and feel free and feel full of excitement and motivation to do that? Or are those thoughts going to really drag you down? Because I'm suggesting that they're not going to make you feel good. And all of those should thoughts, that trying to rein yourself in against your desire, is always what creates a little bit of a backlash, and how you end up binging on those foods when you do have them, because fuck it, you've blown it now anyway, and you might as well go all out and start again tomorrow. If you recognize that pattern, then you will know that I am somebody who had that food eating pattern a lot as a binge eating teenager, so I know it so well. Okay, so the third reason, reader, that you keep eating it, even though it scares you, even though you have diabetes. I've talked about the shoulds. I've talked about the fact that it scares you and those thoughts not being particularly helpful. And the third thing is that you probably still believe that it's a treat, that it's a reward, that it's a celebration, that it's a pleasure. And, Alan Carr is amazing on this. Alan Carr is the smoking guru who created the easy way. He's from very much from an addiction perspective, and I am not. But one thing he's really great on is that intellectual intervention about how we've been brainwashed to think that things like tobacco are giving us something, are a pleasure. And I think what's interesting about sugar is that there are a lot of market forces at work trying to tell you that sugar is a treat. And we've been brought up in a society that thinks of sugar as being a treat. We have so much story around it, so many associations. When I think back to being a kid and having, so I was brought up by sugar-free hippies, but we did have chocolate day on a Saturday. And when I think about going to the corner shop and buying chocolate tools and sitting with my comic, nibbling them, making them last, taking hours over them, really luxuriating in them, and how chocolate now still has that sense of, I'm going to have some time alone. I don't want anyone to talk to me. It's luxury. It's got all of these associations with it. And it's actually, I don't have those associations about broccoli. I don't have those associations about other artificial things. Right? I don't have those associations about chewing gum. I don't think, oh, I'm going to have some chewing gum. It's going to be such a treat. We are sold that sugar and chocolate is Christmas, it's Easter, it's how to say thank you, it's how to do Valentine's, it's how to celebrate Friday, it's have a break from work at the vending machine. It's been so heavily invested for us that we still believe that it's a pleasure. And actually, is it? Is it a pleasure to be gaining weight? Is it a pleasure to be feeding our own cycles of regret? Is it a pleasure is it a reward? Are we getting a reward from it? Because the reward is very short-lived. And actually what we're rewarding ourselves with is a sense that we don't deserve very much more than a bunch of food at the end of the day. And actually we deserve a lot more from life, and you deserve a lot more from life, reader. So 3 places to have a look at your thoughts around sugar there, and see if you can create a more objective approach to it. See if you can strip away these stories about it and just see it as a substance, and then come at it with a different sense of desire. What do I actually want? When I'm choosing not to have sugar, I'm actually choosing to have something else. Whenever we're choosing not to have something, we're choosing to have something else. So what am I choosing instead? Am I choosing my health? Am I choosing to deserve more? Am I choosing my weight loss? And actually, all of those things, when we work together, when we coach together, those things become the gift that you're giving yourself. And the desire for those things to go to bed proud at the end of the day far, far, far outweighs the ersatz fake reward of a bit of sugar? Great question. Thank you for it.